This week, I asked Dr. Elizabeth Brake and Dr. Jeffrey Watson to address the disparity between the number of women and the number of men enrolling in philosophy at the undergraduate level and continuing to pursue it academically and vocationally. There hasn't been a lot of data on the demographics of women in philosophy. However, according to the U.S. Department of Education's Digest of Education Statistics report from 2003, the percentage of women in full-time instructional post-secondary positions was only 16.6% of a total of 13,000 philosophers. Of these 16.6%, women of color amounted to 0. According to the APA Committee on the Status of Black Philosophers and the Society of Young Black Philosophers, currently there are a total of 55 black women who are either doctoral students or philosophy PhDs in academic positions.
Our brains create schemas, which are kind of shorthand ways for identifying different categories. And so they can be bad when they're the basis of stereotypes. And so Haslanger's theory is that, our schema of the philosopher is kind of irrational, and, our schema of women or, femininity or things associated with women is often less rational, so that there might be a kind of dissonance between the sort of psychological shorthand that we use to identify a philosopher and to identify women. And that could, I guess, account for why fewer women, see themselves as potential philosophy students in the first place.
So you love philosophy, but you find yourself in a class that's almost all male, and everyone asks questions or communicates in a very, culturally male way. I can see how that would be weird or intimidating or uncomfortable if you weren't willing to just kind of go with it. And I think that's unfortunate. I don't think philosophy should be a male discipline.
I'm not convinced that, female and male students or researchers are drawn to different areas, sort of essentially or something like that. But there might be subtle pressures, towards one or another area. And then I think you can get kind of a vicious circle. So this is the bias against feminist philosophy or against certain areas of philosophy. I think that I see very little of that in my contemporaries, or certainly younger philosophers. So I hope that that's something that's leaving the profession. And I think that, the greater attention that there has been in the last year to issues, gender problems within philosophy might lead people to self-reflection. If they do think, certain areas are less philosophical than others, why would I think that? And, really examining their own biases.